Alright, here we go. This is a custom 2v2 on Biohazard between the blue team in the bottom left. It is Makeshift in the Pax Helix and Eduardopure63 in the Classic Warthog. And their opponents, the red team in the upper right, it is, how to say this is JeLuLo. JeLuLo? Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. And of course, it is Spartan 427 in the front line. Warthog and going with a moneymaker opening is the red team. Blue team not going with sockets at first. Going they took their bottom right first very quickly, whereas red team is just about to get it right now. So focusing on outposts, obviously the good thing to do, the standard thing to do, as it will, especially early game, because you want to get the early game advantage as much as possible. And Makeshift really low on health, getting followed very well by SMARTAN, and actually will get himself killed here. Will very unlikely be able to survive the air to ground fire, and Makeshift getting finished off. Eduardo not able to save Makeshift or body block for him, but as a hog, SMARTAN will be forced to retreat. Oh man, it is hog Helix in this game. So blue team has both of their sides outposts first. No one has started on the corners yet. Makeshift is going to do just that. Gonna kill the hat first. Whereas the red team is just now taking their right side. No one has started on the mid fight yet, like not even a little bit. And Spartan gonna go for the top left outpost as well. So it'll be a pretty even map split here. And JeLuLo is not aware. Okay, putting Bucky's over here, but this is really just helping the blue team, because it's very unlikely that the red team will be able to take both corners, especially with the unit presence that the blue team has here at the bottom right. So Makeshift ferrying over a couple more, 13 units on the field, and almost all of them are sitting right here. 32 to 32 in terms of upkeep, so it's pretty even for both players, or so for both teams. The red team is way behind in regards to taking the corner that they are going after. I don't know if SMARTAN made those Vulcans, but actually really low on health, getting killed by the Longhorn on the ground. Too many units to contest on the ground over there, so probably wanted to get out of there a lot earlier, kind of overextending there. The Vulcans will get killed off by those flackers on the ground. So the blue team just needs to ferry a couple of creeps over, and they will be able to take that bottom right corner. Okay, Bucky's starting the mid fight for the red team. Not exactly the best choice, probably, especially against the Helix and a Warthog, because the Warthog could just land anywhere here. Well, but there's 4 flackers, so that's a good amount. Spartan now advancing his Goliaths. Gonna finish off that Seeker and ideally kill those brutes, staying out of range of the brutes. That's important when you're when you're neutralizing outposts that are currently neutral. You want to have your tanks outside of brute range, or whatever infantry are in those outposts, so your tanks can do damage, but the infantry inside them cannot do damage to the tanks. Spartan now with bombs that, well, this is a fairly decent unit spread by Makeshift, so those bombs are not going to do that well. It's the Bucky fire that they actually need to worry about. That's a lot of Buckies, and they're not really doing anything about it, the blue team. The red team, and JeLuLo is just air to grounding here as much as possible, and Eduardo taking the mid, but that again is a lot of Bucky fire, so needs to kill those Buckies as soon as possible. Actually, air to ground would do a decent job at that, and has Buckies of his own actually. So SMARTAN gonna finally be able to take this top left, and they will finally be equivalent in economy-ish, except for the middle outpost is now under blue team's control, but JeLuLo making quick work of that. The blue team push in, but a lot of those units got killed, I'm guessing, by JeLuLo's Warthog. But the middle outpost is still under blue team control. Makeshift is now ferrying over a ton of Longhorn. A lot of those Buckies are getting killed, and gonna use the air to mech missiles to finish off JeLuLo on, I don't know, I think he was in the air there actually. So the red team, Spartan, is the only one left on the field. Needs to respond to this attack by the blue team, because there is not much defending over here. Just a couple of Buckies that will die really quick to Makeshift, and that is going to be it. So there's nothing left over here defending against this blue team attack. But now SMARTAN gonna do some ferrying over on the left side himself. Okay, this is getting a little bit interesting. So no one's responding to that ferry over on the left side by SMARTAN. JeLuLo is here to respond to Makeshift's attack over here. So at the very least, the blue team attack will be somewhat hindered and slowed down, but SMARTAN has already neutralized this post, just needs a couple of infantry units. Probably creeps is the quickest way to go unless he pre-built anything, which he definitely has not at this point since he hasn't taken it out of his build queue. So this is going to be quite an interesting you know, map split and progress going forward. What damage was that just now? I guess a Bucky missile, stray Bucky missile hit this fort or something like that. But yeah, now Makeshift gonna be able. Oh no, shooters! Shooters prioritize units, so needs to kill this Longhorn, or put the shooters on this side or something like that for the shooters to walk in. But SMARTAN already at the fort actually, so that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Blue team could kind of. Oh no, so two T-99s getting put down by JeLuLo in defense, so that's actually really great, and no blue team response yet. Eduardo is here now, but that's a lot of flackers, and he will not be able to do damage for very long. Makeshift has to come over here and grenade with his helix, but he is not doing that quite yet. Blocking needs to go down at this point. They're so low on health that blocking needs to go down. Makeshift needs to spam those grenades, but is not doing that at all, and actually has those tanks moving, and this is probably going to be it. The red team has been able to make that swift move from that top left corner to that you know, to that area, to this outpost over here across the way, and just push straight in. Blue team might have been able to do something similar, but they just were not, they just did not execute fast enough. They were clearly ahead in this match, but you know, they took the slower route and hesitated, and I guess most importantly did not realize what the red team was doing on that left side of the map. If they responded to that outpost neutralization, they would have been more aware. They might have been able to reallocate defenses on that left side and pull off defense, and they still had the middle outpost under their control. They had that right side, they had the other corner under their control. They would have still been ahead in the game if they were able to respond in time to that fort attack. They didn't even respond to the outpost attack, so that is probably my turning point, I guess, in this game. Let me know what you guys think. But JeLuLo and SMARTAN427 taking this custom 2v2 on Biohazard over Makeshift and eduardopure63. Obviously not the highest level of games, guys, but this is actually an example of a game that I find very interesting, even though it is more of a mid-level, you know, average skill level game. It was quick, and not necessarily the game length, but the pacing was pretty quick, especially considering it was a mid-tier, more of a mid-level skill. They took outposts fast enough. No one just sat and waited for that long. Makeshift, after taking that corner, decided to go for that attack on the right side, the right side outpost. SMARTAN eventually took that corner after kind of flying around and doing some more fighting, and then right after that, pretty much immediately after that, took the left side outpost. And I think that, I guess, that that commitment and no hesitation was probably what I would say is the reason that they were able to take this game. Obviously, the way that they won, they were able to make that, SMARTAN was able to make that mass of units on the left side and just push straight in. Probably wouldn't have worked in a, you know, top level game the same way, but execution is actually very important there. More unit, like taking this, oh, I can actually still hover over in highlights and stuff. But yeah, taking this this unit clump and spraying them out probably would have helped with the lack of, you know, to combat against AoE attacks and to combat against blocking. And although that might not have gotten the finish in a you know, in a high tier game, more follow-up might have been able to put enough pressure on the fort so that the map control would have been able to swing back in favor of the red team. Speculation, I guess, but that's the kind of things that I tend to observe, and I'm hoping you guys can observe those in your games and decide to send them in. Set up your freaking replay folders. This is RUI, and that is game. See you next time.